Gucci is a renowned name in the world of luxury leather goods, fashion, watches, and jewelry. Its products' dynamicism, creativity, artistic aesthetic, and detailing represent the pinnacle of craftsmanship. Thus, designers see the luxury brand as the epitome of excellence, while patrons desire to flaunt its product. Guccio Gucci was born in 1881 in a family of leather good makers in Florence, Italy. In 1897, he started working as a porter in London's Savoy Hotel. It was at Savoy where he found himself drawn to the artistically beautiful suitcases and trunks that the elite guests of the hotel carried with them. This inspired Guccio to return to his hometown in 1902 and work for a leather luggage maker, Franzi. He learned craftsmanship and fine-tuned his talent as a creator of outstanding pieces of luggage. After leaving Franzi, he started his own brand. In the company's earlier years, Guccio sold leather products to the wealthiest in Italy. While making luggage was of course part of his brand, he also made saddles for horses from some of the finest Italian leather. In fact, many of Gucci's modern-day designs are inspired by the early equestrian equipment it made. The business started as a small family business, mainly selling authentic leather goods and travel gear. However, as business picked up and word spread worldwide about the famous Italian leather goods company, Guccio branched out to equestrian equipment too, hence where the famous horsebit symbols originated. As Gucci's fame grew, England's upper class started taking note of the Gucci brand. Among the many things that Gucci subsequently added to his portfolio were silk goods, leather shoes, and handbags. However, World War II put a halt to the company's success. In 1935, the League of Nations imposed sanctions on the Kingdom of Italy to force the country to abandon its war against the Empire of Ethiopia. The League of Nations embargo against Italy harmed businesses in the country, including Gucci. Guccio found a way to replace the imported leather and other materials with a locally made print set of woven hemp that came from Naples. Despite hardships, Gucci created unique products using alternatives to materials that were not available. Gucci created print comprised a series of small, interconnected diamonds set in a dark background. It became Gucci's first signature design, which was used in its highly successful range of suitcases. 2 years after the war, the iconic Gucci bamboo bag was created. While they were looking for new materials, the innovative Gucci artisans discovered that Japanese bamboo perfectly fits into the remarkable ideas for alternatives. Thus, Gucci used its patented burnished bamboo for bag handles and created a timeless product that defined and solidified its image as a luxury label. It was also in the post-war years when Gucci started using pigskin, a house material that was introduced by Aldo Gucci, Guccio's son, to make bags. Gucci adopted the first green and red Gucci stripe in 1951. 2 years later, Gucci opened its first store in the US at the Savoy Plaza Hotel on East 58th Street in New York, where Guccio worked as a porter. Because of that, the store had an emotional significance for the brand. However, just 15 days after the opening of the store, Guccio died at 72 in Milan. The business was passed on to his sons. While Aldo took control of the operations in the US, Vasco handled the Florentine business, while Rodolfo managed things out of Milan. It was also in 1953 that the luxury brand created its iconic Gucci loafer with the metal bit that is used to control a horse. Among the most famous earlier products featuring the horse bit are men's loafers. Gucci's logo itself had an evolution of its own. While he was starting the business, Guccio created the brand's first logo himself. It was a simple, yet stylish italicized version of his signature. After some time, and a couple of more alterations later, Aldo came up with the symbol of two interlinked G's. In 1955, it became a registered trademark and soon became a permanent fixture across many of the brand's products, although it has only undergone minor modifications since. The 1950s marked the start of the golden era of Gucci. Its presence in the US drew the who's who of the film world to Gucci. Stars such as Elizabeth Taylor were photographed with Gucci's bamboo tote, of which Peter Sellers too was a fan. Jackie Kennedy famously sported a Gucci purse in 1961, which instantly turned the tote into a must-have Gucci product. The purse's popularity led to it being later renamed and relaunched as Jackie. Grace Kelly, the Princess of Monaco, was a regular Gucci patron. Following one of her visits to a Gucci store, Rodolfo commissioned a special Flora scarf in her honor as a gift for the princess in 1966. In the early 60s, the GG logo was applied to canvases and used for bags, small leather goods, luggage, and the first piece of clothing. More Gucci stores popped up in the 70s, which sold clothing in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and another location in New York City. In 1975, Gucci entered the beauty space with their debut fragrance, Gucci No. 1. Gucci's first fragrance was launched in 1975, and since would continue to be a stronghold from the company. From Gucci Guilty and Flora by Gucci to Gucci by Gucci and Gucci Bloom. Gucci's first ready-to-wear fashion show was held in 1981. The collection focused heavily on the Flora pattern and took place at the Sala Bianca Palazzo Pitti in Florence, Italy. For the next few decades, Gucci underwent several major changes and some drama. Guccio's grandchildren were working at the company by the early 80s, and the family was feuding about who would be in control. Eventually, Rodolfo's son Maurizio took over, pushing his cousins and Uncle Aldo out of the company. However, Maurizio brought bankruptcy to the company, which is why Investcorp purchased half of the brand in 1981. The first big change in Gucci's revamp was Don Mello being assigned as the very first creative director, and a whole new team including Richard Lambertson as design director, Neil Barrett designing menswear, and Tom Ford as the designer of the women's ready-to-wear collection. Only a year after Tom Ford became the brand's creative director, Maurizio Gucci sold the other half of his shares to Investcorp and was murdered by his wife in the same year. By 1993, Investcorp gained complete control of the company, thus bringing an end to the Gucci family's stake in the business. In the early 2000s, Fendi's former handbag designer Frida Giannani joined the accessories department, John Ray joined the women's wear department, and Alessandra Feccinetti joined the women's wear department. During the decade, LVMH slowly took over the company, and investor Franco Pinault, known as Kering, became the major stakeholder to this day. Tom Ford and CEO Domenico Del Sol left the company in 2004. When Giannani became the brand's creative director in 2006, she abandoned Ford's overt sexual style and GG logo for her design's rejuvenated floral patterns and other distinct house symbols, which later proved successful. Soon after Giannani departed from the company, Michelle quickly rose to the top in 2015 after working for the brand for over 12 years. Michelle quickly took to the role by scraping Giannani's line and redesigning an entirely new menswear collection in just 5 days before exhibiting it in the Fall-Winter 2015 runway. He launched his first women's wear collection in the Milan runway a month later. Following DeMarco's exit, Marco Bizzarri was also brought in as the new president and CEO. In only 4 years, Alessandro Michele made major changes to the Gucci brand. Michele filled the high fashion runway with a childlike fantasy, with bees, hearts, bows, brooches, flowers, ruffles, pop culture references, and other maximalist designs and symbols. Still, Michele tries to stay true to Gucci's origins while still evolving with the times. In 2017, Gucci pledged to promote gender equality and diversity, become sustainable, and provide a caring work environment, contribute to positive social impacts, and support transformation, all while continuing craftsmanship traditions. So far, the brand has been fulfilling its promise by promoting unisex wear and perfume, embracing seasonless fashion, going fur-free, reducing its environmental impact, and many other positive practices. In the years after his appointment, Michele turned the luxury house into the printed, sequined, oversized glasses-loving vision that we know today. Beginning with its 2022 collections, the company is entirely fur-free and has promised to reduce its environmental impact, including greenhouse gas emissions by 2025. Overall, the fashion house has had a share of public family squabbles and numerous leadership changes, but remains a luxury brand to this day. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and push the bell notification.